I feel like I want to cry.
Why?
Just because it's like, it gives me anxiety. And I'm just like, it makes you really like analyze just like where you're at. And then I'm like, sometimes like, what am I doing?
Kourtney Kardashian just quietly revealed something that changes everything we thought we knew about her marriage to Travis Barker. In January 2026, the Push founder and Lemmy co-founder casually dropped on her Instagram stories that she hasn't had a single drink in 3 years. 3 years. And when you start connecting the dots on what those 3 years actually looked like behind the scenes, the fairy tale romance with the Blink 182 drummer starts looking very different. Because those 3 years weren't just about giving up alcohol, they were about surviving what Travis Barker put her through, even if he didn't mean to. Let's set the timeline straight. Kourtney's sobriety started around early 2022, right when she and Travis were deep into their IVF journey. And this wasn't some casual process. 5 IVF cycles, 3 egg retrievals, an entire year of pumping her body full of synthetic hormones that went completely against everything the wellness entrepreneur has ever stood for. Kourtney, the woman who built her entire brand around clean living through Push and her supplement company Lemi, suddenly found herself on medications that put her body into early menopause at 43. She was dealing with hot flashes, extreme mood swings, and a complete hormonal shutdown. She admitted on The Kardashians on Hulu that the treatments left her feeling completely not herself, and that her body, because it was so clean, was having the opposite reaction to the medications. Instead of helping her conceive, the treatments were essentially working against her. She gained significant weight from the treatments, and every time she appeared in public looking different, all social media exploded with pregnancy speculation. Kourtney eventually snapped, telling Kris Jenner that it was so rude for people to comment on her body when they had no idea what she was actually going through. And here's the part nobody talks about. Even after she stopped IVF treatments in early 2022, it took her body 10 full months to recover, 10 months before her energy returned, 10 months before she started feeling like herself again. Almost a full year of recovery from treatments that didn't even work. Now, here's where this story goes deeper than any other channel has covered. While Kourtney was going through all of this, 3 other things were happening simultaneously that nobody has stitched together. First, despite being married since May 2022 in their famous wedding in Portofino, Italy, Kourtney and Travis Barker didn't actually move in together until June 2024. Let that sink in. 2 years of marriage, 1 child together, and they were still living in separate houses in Calabasas. While the rest of the world was swooning over their Italian ceremony and their over-the-top PDA on Instagram, they were actually still figuring out the basics of sharing a life together. Travis had been living in their gated community in Hidden Hills since 2017. He's admitted publicly that he moved there specifically because he knew Kourtney was the love of his life, even while she was still with Scott Disick. For years, he lived down the street, watching her raise Mason Disick, Penelope Disick, and Rain Disick with Scott, waiting for his moment. That level of devotion is intense, but it also shows how complicated this relationship has been from the very start. Second, right in the middle of Kourtney's sobriety journey, her oldest son, Mason Disick, made a decision that reportedly left her heartbroken. Mason, who is now 16, moved out of Kourtney and Travis's home in Hidden Hills and moved in with his father, Scott Disick. Sources said Kourtney was devastated by the decision and ultimately blamed Scott's more lenient parenting style for Mason choosing his dad's house over hers. Think about this from Kourtney's perspective. She's sober. She's recovering from a brutal IVF journey. She's trying to blend a family of 7 children, including Travis's kids, Alabama Barker, Landon Barker, and stepdaughter Atiana De La Hoya, and her firstborn son, the child she raised for 14 years, decides he'd rather live with his father. That's the kind of emotional hit that would test anyone's sobriety. And when the entire Kardashian-Barker family traveled to Australia for a month in 2024, while Travis was touring with Blink 182, Mason refused to go. He stayed in California with Scott. Kourtney tried to put a positive spin on it publicly, saying Mason was a teenager who wanted to be with his friends and his dad. But behind those words, the pain was obvious. Third, there was the pregnancy scare that terrified everyone. In September 2023, Kourtney was rushed in for emergency fetal surgery because Rocky 13 Barker had fluid in his lungs, an incredibly rare condition. After 3 straightforward pregnancies with Scott Disick, she was completely unprepared for the possibility of losing this baby. The miracle child she and Travis had been desperately trying to conceive through years of IVF had finally arrived naturally, conceived on Valentine's Day 2023 at the Amangiri Resort in Utah. And now there was a real chance she could lose him. She wrote about the fear being unlike anything she'd ever experienced. And for a woman who is already in the most emotionally fragile state of her life, that scare added another layer of trauma to an already overwhelming 3 years. Now, here's the question that makes this story so complicated. Is Travis Barker the reason Kourtney survived these 3 years? Or is he the reason she needed to survive them in the first place? On one hand, Travis understands sobriety better than almost anyone in Kourtney's world. The Blink-182 drummer has been sober for over 17 years, and ever since he survived the horrific 2008 plane crash that killed 4 people and left him with third-degree burns over most of his body, he knows what it takes to stay clean. He knows the discipline, the daily choice, the constant vigilance. In that way, he's probably the best partner Kourtney could have for this journey. But on the other hand, it was Travis's desire for their own biological child that sent Kourtney down the medical path that nearly broke her. She did 5 IVF cycles for him. She pumped her body full of hormones for him. She sacrificed her physical and mental health because she wanted to give Travis the one thing he dreamed of, a child that was truly theirs together. And even beyond the IVF, Travis's lifestyle added complexity that most people don't talk about. His touring schedule with Blink-182 means months on the road. His record label, DTA Records, keeps him busy in the studio. His brand, Barker Wellness, ironically focused on health and recovery, takes up more of his time. For a woman trying to maintain sobriety while raising a toddler and navigating a blended family of 7 kids, having a husband who's frequently traveling isn't exactly a recipe for stability. Then there's the public scrutiny that comes specifically from being Travis Barker's wife. Just this past Christmas, Travis and Kourtney faced massive backlash after his daughter Alabama Barker posted a TikTok showing off her Christmas gifts, which included luxury lingerie from Agent Provocateur that Travis and Kourtney had picked out for her. The video went viral with over 7 million views, and the comment sections were brutal. That kind of public controversy adds stress to an already pressured situation. But despite all of this, something undeniable happened during these 3 years. When Kourtney let go of the medical interventions, let go of trying to control the outcome, and let go of alcohol, everything fell into place. Rocky 13. Barker was conceived naturally. The pregnancy, despite the scare, resulted in a healthy baby boy born in November 2023. And Kourtney found a version of herself that seems more grounded and at peace than the woman we watched on Keeping Up with the Kardashians for 20 seasons. There's a pattern here that's impossible to ignore. Kourtney gave up alcohol. She gave up IVF. She gave up trying to force outcomes. And the moment she surrendered control, she got everything she wanted. Our Rocky 13. Barker is now 2 years old and by all accounts thriving. Travis posted on Instagram that Rocky sleeps 10-hour blocks at night and spends his days playing drums and guitar, clearly taking after his father. Kourtney and Travis are finally living under one roof as a proper family. She's running Poosh, building Lemmy, and filming The Kardashians on Hulu without the cloud of medical treatments hanging over her. But let's be honest about what sobriety really means in Kourtney's world. This is a woman whose entire social circle revolves around events, parties, fashion weeks, and family gatherings where alcohol flows freely. Every Kardashian-Jenner Christmas party, every birthday celebration, every season premiere event, staying sober in that environment for 3 years isn't casual. It's a daily discipline that most people in Hollywood can't maintain. And Travis deserves credit here. Having a partner who's been sober for 17 years, who understands the commitment and never pressures you to drink, that's a genuine advantage. Whatever else Travis may have put Kourtney through, his sobriety gave her a safe space to find her own. But the biggest question is why Kourtney chose January 2026 to reveal her 3 years of sobriety. She could have mentioned it at any point during the Kardashians. She could have made it a whole storyline. Instead, she dropped it casually on Instagram stories like it was nothing. Here's what I think is really happening. Kourtney is going through it right now, and sobriety is her anchor. Her oldest son, Mason, is living with Scott Disick and has been pulling further away from her and Travis. As Scott Disick himself is still firmly embedded in the Kardashian-Jenner family, despite Kourtney reportedly wanting him removed from the show, with Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, and Khloe Kardashian all siding with Scott over her. And now, Scott and Khloe are developing a new spin-off show together called Calabasas Behind the Gates, which means Scott's presence in Kourtney's world is actually expanding, not shrinking. Meanwhile, the internet is buzzing about a viral prediction from Latina astrologer Esoteric Isa, whose real name is Jasmine Alejandrez, who claims she predicted Kourtney and Travis's baby and is now predicting their divorce in 2026. She specifically pointed to the Venus retrograde activating parts of Kourtney's chart linked to transformation and freedom. Isa even said Kourtney will realize she lost her identity and gave up her Aries power in love Whether you believe in astrology or not, the timing is impossible to ignore. Kourtney revealing her sobriety right as divorce predictions go viral, right as her family sides with her ex over her, right as her son chooses his father over her. That's not a casual Instagram story. That's a woman planting a flag and saying, "This is who I am now, no matter what comes next." But the real question is whether 3 years of sobriety can hold up against what 2026 is throwing at her. With Mason pulling away, Scott getting more screen time than ever, the family choosing sides against her, and astrologers predicting the end of her marriage, Kourtney Kardashian might be facing the hardest test of her sobriety yet. And if she falls, Travis Barker will have to answer for whether he was the one holding her up or the one who made the ground shake in the first place.